Hello there, welcome back to my views and news. Some new stories from Ethiopia where it seems that Ethiopian government, Ethiopian security forces have made some preparations for big offensives. First big offensive is going to be on Gondar city. Thousands of Ethiopian military soldiers are advancing towards Gondar city. Where is Ethiopian National Defense Force stationed? What is the overall mood in Gondar city? Do people want to protect Gondar city? What is Fano doing in Gondar? Is Fano inside Gondar? We have complete details for you from Gondar city. I talked to the people who are there through some sources. Obviously, internet is cut off there, but I wanted to get a feel of the mood there because what Gondar people think is going to determine the outcome of ENDF's offensive on Gondar city. I did a detailed video from Gonder yesterday. I told you about the fighting which erupted there on Thursday mostly, and hundreds were killed in that clash between Fano fighters and Ethiopian National Defense Force. ENDF's Northwest Command is based in Gondar, and in Azizo there is a big ENDF camp. Thursday's fighting was in different parts of the city, near Gondar University, in Azizo, near airport, and in some other parts of the city too. It was urban combat, fighting on the streets of Gondar. Fano fighters got local support. ENDF was dislodged from Gondar University, from a mountain behind Gondar University. Then we saw clashes spread towards Azizo, ENDF's base 2, airport 2. Now the latest position is that Azizo, ENDF camp, reportedly under Fano control, airport, Gondar airport under Fano control. Ethiopian National Defense Force retreated on Thursday and Friday. There was no large-scale fighting yesterday. Why? Because ENDF was regrouping. And ENDF now wants to launch a major counteroffensive on Gondar city. From which direction this counteroffensive is expected? And what is Fano's plan? How to counter this counteroffensive? Well, I showed you 4 roads yesterday in yesterday's video which connect Gondar with nearby town cities. Gondar to Dansha, Abdurrafe Road, Gondar to Volkait Road, Gondar to Debark, Debat, Diyarkai Road, Gondar to Debre Tabor Road, and Gondar to Matimma Road. These are 4 main roads. And you can reach Gondar from Lake Tana to from Gara Gara. But these are 4 main roads which I mentioned. Now, Ethiopian National Defense Force is trying to advance towards Gondar city from Abdurrafe, from Dansha. Dansha is in Sagade. From Sagade and Abdurrafe, they are advancing towards Gondar city. How many ENDF soldiers? Difficult to tell the exact number, but there are thousands. Around 15 to 20,000 Ethiopian army soldiers are marching. They are advancing towards Gondar city. Where have they reached? Around 10 to 15 kilometers away from Gondar city, ENDF members are stationed now. They have not made a move on Gondar city so far. They are regrouping, advancing, making preparations. Any other advance too from some other direction on Gondar city? Difficult to say, but main advance of Ethiopian National Defense Force is from Dunshah to Gondar road. Though I personally think that they try to send units by air to Gondar, maybe from western or southern sides. Troops can be transported by air. Maybe lake could be used from Gorgara to Gonder. I think this offensive will come from at least two directions, two or three directions, though all four roads close to Gondar city are blocked. They are under Fano control, but close to Gondar city. The distance from Gondar city, 10-15 kilometers away, ENDF is based along Gondar to Dunshah road. I think offensive will come at least from two or three directions, from Dunshah to Gondar, from Matimma to Gondar, and from Lake Tana to Gondar. That is my assessment. The main push would be from Sagade, from Dutch side. And it's not that ENDF is just going to storm the city, no. They'll try to get close to the city and then they'll negotiate. They'll try to separate Fano fighters and civilians, Fano fighters and locals. Their strategy would be that they'll offer talks to the locals in Gondar. They talked to locals in Gondar a few weeks ago when there was confrontation between Fano fighters and Ethiopian military there. And Gondar went on 2-day strike. And back then, talks succeeded. Fano fighters retreated from Gondar city and ENDF also retreated from Gondar city. So back then talks worked. This time things different because just 48 hours ago, hundreds were killed in Gondar city, including civilians. So I think talks will start. ENDF will give a warning, then it might start firing warning shots. ENDF is armed with heavy weapons, tanks, artillery pieces reportedly. What is the mood, overall mood in the city, Gondar city? Do people want to fight? What is Fano's plan here? Well, Fano fighters are mobilizing people. They have started a door-to-door campaign, meeting women, meeting elderly, meeting elders. They're building a narrative. They're saying this fight is fight for survival. It is fight for your Amhara ethnicity. Fight for your religion. If you don't fight, your women will be raped, you will be killed, you will be displaced. This is the narrative which is being built by Fano fighters in Gondar city. Will people accept the narrative? Too early to say, but we saw a big protest in Gondar yesterday in support of Fano fighters. Fano fighters were there, though they did some work on day before yesterday for this protest. But yesterday we saw thousands of people, youths, protesting on the streets of Gondar in support of Fano against ENDF's offensive on Fano in Gondar. It means that people behind Fano fighters and Fano fighters are in a position to get reinforcements from nearby town cities. There is no problem when it comes to shortage of manpower. They have small arms. They are telling youths to join. They are saying that youths will be given weapons. They have captured weapons from Ethiopian National Defense Force too. So Fano fighters armed, mobilized, people charged, and they are saying that unarmed people should stay behind. They should supply logistics to armed people, armed fighters, and armed people will be at the front, on front lines. That is the plan made by Fano fighters. And Fano fighters are trying to stop Ethiopian National Defense Force outside the city. That is why ENDF is stationed outside the city. All around Gonder city, Fano fighters are based. So they'll try to stop ENDF not far away from the city because their strength is people. Their strength is local population. They'll try to stop the ENDF forces in city outskirts, I would say. Then gradually city will be involved. They would like city to be involved. This is a different type of war, viewers, in Amhara. In Tigray, we saw that Tigray fighters always withdrew from town cities to protect their people. Whenever there was a threat of attack on a major town city, TDF members would withdraw, like what happened in Mekelle, in other parts of Tigray too. They protected their people by withdrawing from town cities because they had a regular army, you can say. Fano fighters are working in small groups. They don't have regular army. Fano fighters based in Gondar city cannot fight ENDF alone outside the city. They can only fight if people support them. So that is why urban combat we are seeing in Gondar, in other parts of Amhara too. It's a different type of conflict in Amhara. It's not what happened in Tigray. That is why since the conflict is urban, it's in cities, it will be deadlier than what we saw in Tigray if this conflict goes on. TDF members were armed, most of them were armed, but here unarmed people are more than armed fighters. Let's hope that somehow things are resolved through dialogue on Gondar front. Otherwise, what we are seeing on the ground, ENDF is adamant that it wants to take back Gondar. And secondly, the other side, Fano locals, they are equally adamant. They say, no, we won't surrender. Fano is trying to make it a war of survival, a fight for survival. And people are listening to Fano fighters. So that is the overall mood on Gondar front. By the way, no offensive started so far. It's not that ENDF has launched major offensive on Gondar. Preparations are there. Regrouping is underway. That is why there was less fighting yesterday. I said yesterday, if you remember, I said that government was making preparations. It was focused on establishment of setups for the start of major operations. So that is what is happening on the ground. We'll try to keep you updated, viewers, about the security situation in Gondar. Let's hope that this escalation in Gondar is averted. Otherwise, thousands could die. Thank you for watching.